What's going on, guys? It's your boy Schwa. Today we're reacting to Mafia member turned prison informant. Let's get to the video. Let's go.
Well, at one point you decided to cooperate.
No,
No?
no, I didn't cooperate.
Well, you became an informant in prison.
Well, yeah, what happened was the terrorists. It wasn't.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's not really cooperating. Yeah, terrorists. You can snitch on them all day
Yeah.
long. Let's go.
Terrorists.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
The first of which was Ramzi Youssef,
Yes.
who was the mastermind behind the 1993 World Trade Center bomb.
Right. But now I started that cooperation
Was that the one? I think that's the one where they sent the van in the parking garage and try to blow up the World Trade Center from the bottom.
in MCC before I even got to Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here you are, this Italian mobster, and you become cool with Ramzi Youssef,
Yeah.
who is a Islamic terrorist.
Tell me he don't just look like a terrorist, chat. Tell me that man isn't just terrorist coded. Why is it AI generated though? Are we getting AI generated photos of terrorists? That boy is terrorist coded like a motherfucker.
Yeah. The worst of the worst. The mastermind of both World Trade Center.
Both?
of them, 93 and the 201.
Oh, really? He masterminded the other one also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I was about to say, but the title said it for me. If he knew it was 1993 and 2001, he could have prevented that shit, huh? Let's listen. Let's listen.
Well, how'd you become friends with this guy?
Well, I was on fighting my case. I said the discovery and everything. They would let you out to stretch your legs a little bit on the range that I was, and there was other terrorists up there. This kid Ismail, Wali Khan, something like that, his name. Murad, who they pinched, was going to be one of the flyers of the plane. He was a pilot, learned how to, fly the plane, but they pinched him and these guys. So I would go out, and you'd be cordial, you talk to them, stuff like that, and they hear who you are and all that kind of stuff, just by newspapers and everything else that's around there. And they were telling me that they have this Ramzi Youssef. He says he's downstairs for 18 months. He's down there. They got him in a room, but he's fighting. He should be coming up here soon. He says he gonna like you. He says, and you're gonna like him. Okay? I said, oh, good, all right. Sounds good, Eventually, Ramzi Youssef comes up. Introduced each other, and he knows who I am, and he's, getting close. Then,
Yeah, if y'all don't know who this is Gregory Scarpa Jr., the Grim Reaper's son. Mafia hitman Grim Reaper. This is his son right here. Did a few hits, cut some bodies up. If you want to know more about him, go look up Vlad's recent videos. He's told a little bit of his life story.
and they decide to go on a food strike, okay? They're not getting what they want and stuff like that. I start saying to myself, I could make amends over here a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe I could get a break with this 40 years and stuff like that. Fuck these guys because they're, to me, they're. So when they go on the food strike, on my own, I take the shower first, and I let them know I put in the shower, because they can't let them know, I put in the shower all kinds of food for them to eat on the sneak. They would take their shower, take the food, put it in the towels and take it in there, and they would eat.
Trying to get in good with those terrorists there, get some information. There we go. Get that information from them.
So we got close that way, and talking and talking. And then I told him, I said, I want you to know something, Ramzi. I says, what I'm involved with, the La Cosa Nostra, the Mafia, we have a wing also that's against the government. Like you guys, we feel the same way. So he asked me, he said, do you know how to make bombs? And I said, no, those are the things I don't know. We don't.
Wait, what'd he say?
So he asked me, he said, do you know how to make bombs? And I said, no, those are the things I don't know. We don't know.
No.
You know, if we knew those things, you know, he said, I teach you everything. I teach you everything. And that's how we ended up getting close, and what went on was like unbelievable, you know?
Right, because you guys would
Shit, tell us about it. What happened?
pass notes through the cracks of the wall.
Well, what happened was now I got in touch with my lawyer, okay, and told him that these guys are talking to me, all right, and they got a lot of plans for mistrial, talking about blowing up airplanes and everything. So he went, told the government, okay, and they says okay, but they never came up, you know. But I was still talking to them and everything like that. Then it got to a point where they said that they were going to hurt the prosecutor because the guy was giving Ramsey Youssef a dirty look in the courtroom. He says, yeah, and he's telling me that he's got 4 terrorists outside, you know, in Manhattan. He says, I'm going to take care of this Garcia, and probably the judge too. He said, I'm going to get a mistrial.
See, that's the scary part is, man, these people, they're hidden in society like normal people. Because we're such a melting pot that, like, you can't tell who's who to do what until it's too late. Until it's too late, stuff blows up, people get murdered. You just never know.
And I'm going to get satisfaction. You know, he had the very smart way of talking, though. He had that British accent, you know, and he was clear, and, you know, and I brought that to the lawyer. As soon as I brought that to the lawyer, they called me. Okay, what happened was they says, you know, the doctors want you downstairs or whatever. So I went down there, and it was the warden that was there with the FBI agent. He says, listen, you're doing a good thing, okay? We want to know, what do you think about the cells being bugged? I said, that's not going to work because we're not yelling back and forth. You're not going to hear nothing. I says, he passes kites.
Passing notes.
And I passed him back, you know, and talking, he whispers, you know, the funny thing, he uses that thing like when we were kids, you put it on the wall with the string for work.
The can with the
next
string.
to the crack and everything, you know. So they were talking, and then he says, well, how about if we give you a spy camera? Would you be able? I said, yeah, as long as I could work it. I'm not technology savvy at all. I said, he said, yeah, it's really just a little camera. He says, you click it, and then we'll come and pick it up and take pictures of the notes and all that stuff. I said, yeah, no problem. Okay, so that's what they did. They gave me the camera. Next time that they came, you know, they gave me the camera. It went up there. Oh, excuse me, I'm skipping something. Before that happened, before I got the camera, they called me out. I went to somewhere, you know, where they all were, all the government people, Washington, everything. People from Washington, anti-terrorist group, you know, all that stuff. And they had all these people around talking that what's involved over here, and we're going to have a paralegal see you every week. You're going to have notes, write down, you can't take pictures of, write down notes. She's going to come up, and she points to me. You got to see this girl. Ming, she was beautiful, black. I said, well, she's going to come see me every week. Good, nice, you know.
Yeah. He said, I'll give up all the information. I'll let you know everything he did and I did. Send that lady to my cell. We'll do anything. I'll give you everything.
With that, that was worked out. I went back. They gave me the camera, and I started taking pictures. They says, could you bring I said, no, he wants the kites that he sends me.
I want to know what the terrorist dude was getting out of telling him everything, though. Because why would somebody like that just give up all their information? Not that I care. I mean, I'm glad he did, you know what I'm saying? But what did he think he was getting out of the deal besides getting told on.
Me, he wants them back. He says, does he? I said, no, he flushes them, okay, because you hear the flush. As soon as I give it back to him, he flushes, okay. So he said, all right, just take the pictures and stuff. Susan will be up there to see you.
Well, I guess because Greg told him that they hate the government too, so I guess that right there is enough for him to give all his secrets and shit. Got something in common, huh? I guess that's it.
And her real name's name is going to be Susan Schwartz. She's going to be a paralegal, known by all the corrections officers and everything that she's a paralegal. Okay, that's good, great. So that's what it was. She came up, you know, and I was giving her the notes and stuff. And when I had to give the camera, and we got a lot of good information. Then it went even further than that. They really got excited, okay, because he wanted to know if I could patch him through with my people outside.
Well, I know damn well this ain't the Susan Schwartz they talking about, that fine lady. I know he wasn't talking about the fine lady being this motherfucker. You joking? Let's resume the video. It can't be. It can't be.
CN people, he says to patch him through overseas.
Oh, y'all can't see. Y'all can't see it. Just be glad you can't see it. Be glad you can't see what I just pulled up.
That he could talk to his people out there. So I said, I think we can arrange that. I said, he says to patch him through overseas, that he could talk to his people out there. So I said, I think we can arrange that. I says, you know, I'll talk to my people, you know, blah. So we arranged it, okay? Those people weren't my people, they were the FBI, okay? So the FBI now is listening to his calls overseas, okay, talking to whoever. So while that's going on, you know, I'm seeing these calls being made and everything like that. Probably after a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, they bum rushed our range, all FBI agents. They pulled me out of the cell, right? They go in his cell, they pull them. I said, what's going on? They pull me out. They bring me to a room. They said, what the fuck is going on? So, talking about what's going on. What are you fucking going crazy? They says, listen, something big is going down, okay? So what do you want from me? You're listening to them. What do you mean you're telling me something big is going down? He's talking to 6 different languages, slang. We don't know what he's saying.
Oh.
I said, you want to yell at me? He said, no, we're not yelling at you, but there's something big going on, and you got to find out what it is. I said, but you listening? You got interpreters? You can't. He said, no, nobody can understand what he's saying. Okay, but we understood that something big is going down. I said,
it's about 9/11. But what was it saying?
Do the best I can, you know. And continued, and all of a sudden they says, listen, we're going to close it down. We're moving him to another part of 9 South that they had built up top. And my lawyer came and told me, he says, great, you know, they think that the guy might be bullshitting you. I says, bullshitting? I said, all right. That's too bad. You know, it don't sound like it's bullshit because of what I gave him so far. You know, I gave him how to fucking make the bombs, how to fucking, how they smuggled bombs onto the airplane, you know, unmade, you know, that you could build it on.
See, that's the thing, bro. Our intelligence agencies are just so egotistical. You know what I'm saying? They look past common shit. They look past straight evidence. Because they just think they know everything. Like, bro, listen to every step of the evidence this man is giving you. And look at it. Even if you think it's bullshit, still look at it. Take a look at it. Break it down. Figure out, you know, why it could be, but not just, that's BS. Get that out. We already know that. No. Break it down. What happened?
bomber years made, you know, that you could build it on the plane. I told him about the shoe bomber years before the shoe bomber went, you know. I mean, all that. But long story short, you know, I was able to go up and see him through my visits. That's where they had visits up there. I'm there so long fighting my case that, you know, and a lot of the corrections officers are from the neighborhood. So where instead of taking me right down, they said, listen, I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go say hello to the few of the guys that are up here. Yeah, go ahead, Greg. At one time, I brought my daughters to really show them that I'm his friend. I brought my daughters, introduced my daughters to Yusuf, okay? And, you know, looking at there was crazy eyes, you know?
Yeah.
And anyway, I see him again, and he ends up telling me, he says, Greg, he says, I'm going to let you know, he said, but that place is going down. You know, he said, he referred to the World Trade Center, okay? And with that, I said, oh, yeah? Now, I told my lawyer.
He told him, and he told his lawyer. Let's see what they say. Let's see what they say.
But I didn't tell him that. I just said, listen, I got something big, real big. You want to get a hold of him? He said, Greg, what's the point? He said, they say that he's bullshitting you. And, you know, they're not going to, you know, they're not going to do nothing for you. Okay? I said, well, this is real big, Larry. He said, well, you know, I'm telling you, they're not going to listen to you. I said, all right. He said, you want to tell me? I said, no, I'm not going to tell you, you know. He says, all right. You know, you sure you don't want to tell me? I said, no, I ain't going to tell you, you know, because I know what he's going to do. And I'm like, you know, where's my amends that, you know, give me something, you know. But no, they said that he's bullshitting you and all that. So anyway, I'm gone. He's gone first. He leaves. And eventually I go. Send me to Supermax. The first day I'm there, Vlad, I get books for, I got no property, I just got there. Books were wheeled to me. They said, Scarpa? I said, yeah. So she says, you ordered these law books? So I didn't want to say no. I got nothing to read. I'll take them. Why not? So I says, yeah, you know. So she gives them to me. Got something to read. I open it up. There's fucking kites in it. You know what a kite is? He sent them to me. He made believe that I asked for them. In these kites, you break this code. He's telling me how to break this code. And I gotta go through all this fucking bullshit again. You know what I'm saying? And going back and forth with that, you know, it was just a lot of bullshit though, you know, nothing big, you know.
The boy sent a capture in the law book, so you got to break this capture first. Where's the bicycles?
You know what I mean? Nothing that was worth anything real, all right? Until I get this letter, okay, that says, Greg, I want you to know something. He says, I found a loophole in my case. And he says it's 2001, early September. He says, I'll be getting released. I knew right away that's something's happening there. It could be that, because that's what he had said. It's going down, okay? And I'm calling for the FBI. They don't come up or nothing. So I gave the letter to the BOP people, the lieutenant. I said, get this to the FBI. This is very, very important, you know. And that was the last I heard. Then next thing I know, the plane hit the thing, and at that time, and this was, when he told me this, it was a year and a half before it happened, that he said he was getting released at that date. Early September 2001. Yusuf was the mastermind, you know, which I found out. I know he was the mastermind. Had to go to Osama bin Laden to get an okay. I was there when they got the okay, and how they acted. And it was true, Ramzi Yusuf's uncle, Kahid Sheikh Mohammed, he's the one that went to Osama.
Ah, damn, that boy looked like a stinky foot. Ah, damn. Boy looked like a fuzzy fucking pear.
Bin Laden, okay?
So, if the FBI took your letter seriously, they could have potentially stopped it.
You know, I mean, really. You know, if they got,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't even know if they got the letter, but
Hmm.
you know, you know, just filling in the blanks, you know, continuing this thing, yeah, they would have, you know, we could have stopped this thing, yeah.
Well, ultimately, Ramzi Youssef gets life plus 240 years.
Right,
So he's not going anywhere.
right. But what happened? They should kill him.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it's a lot different than the kind of stuff you were doing, your
Yeah.
dad was doing.
Yeah, yeah. You know, no, and you know what? You're walking the guy. Well, not that he give a fuck because they think they're going to Allah, the white gates, the wine, the girl.
Yeah, that's their belief system is crazy. I mean, I know everybody has their beliefs, their religion, but the fact that you think killing people is going to get you somewhere great is just like insane. That's evil,
Girls, that's what they think.
insanity,
You know, it's like unbelievable.
unbelievable.
They really
Yeah.
think it.
It's unbelievable. All right, y'all. That was Schwa Reacts. Mafia man turned informant in prison against the 9/11 terrorists. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, drop what you thought about the video. Coming back with another one soon.